The rain fell in sheets across the memorial garden of Proxima Station, each droplet a carefully calculated atmospheric adjustment by the colony's weather systems. Commander James Chen knelt before the smooth obsidian marker, his weathered hands trembling as they traced the letters etched into its surface. Dr. Sarah Chen, 2089-2127, first xenobiologist of Proxima Centauri b, beloved wife. "I'm sorry I couldn't save you," he whispered, his voice breaking. "The Kashari, they said there was no cure, that human biology was too fragile for their world. 3 years had passed since the accident. 3 years since Sarah had been exposed to the crimson spores during their first contact mission with the Kashari, an ancient race that had watched humanity's stumbling steps into the cosmos with something between amusement and pity. The spores had ravaged her nervous system in ways that even the Kashari's advanced medicine couldn't reverse. They had apologized, offered compensation, but their 8-eyed faces showed only clinical detachment. To them, Sarah was a statistical inevitability, an acceptable loss in the grand calculus of interstellar relations. James had stopped believing in miracles the day she died. "I'm leaving tomorrow," he continued, rain mixing with tears on his face. "Back to Earth. I can't stay here anymore. Everything reminds me of you." A hand touched his shoulder. James froze. The memorial garden was supposed to be empty at this hour. He'd made certain of it. He turned slowly, expecting to see a maintenance drone or perhaps a sympathetic colonist. What he saw instead made his breath catch in his throat. She stood there, exactly as he remembered her. Same auburn hair pulled back in a practical bun, same spray of freckles across her nose, same green eyes that had always seen wonder in the universe where others saw only danger. But something was different. Her skin held a faint luminescence like starlight trapped beneath flesh. "Sarah?" The word came out as barely a whisper. "Hello, James." Her voice was hers, but layered with harmonics that hadn't existed before, as if multiple versions of her were speaking in perfect unison across different frequencies. He stumbled backward. "This isn't possible. You're dead. I watched them. I watched them bury you." "You did," she said calmly, her expression serene. "And I was dead. For approximately 47 hours and 18 minutes by Earth Standard Time." "How?" "The Kashari lied to you, James, not out of malice but out of fear." She stepped closer, and he could see now that her feet didn't quite touch the wet ground. "Those spores didn't kill me. They transformed me." James's mind raced. He'd spent 3 years studying every report, every medical scan. The Kashari had shown him her body's complete neural collapse. "Transformed you into what?" Sarah smiled, and in that smile was an infinity he couldn't comprehend. "Into something they've been terrified of for 10,000 years. Do you know why the Kashari never truly welcomed humanity into the galactic community, James? Why they kept us at arm's length despite our potential?" He shook his head, unable to form words. "Because we're compatible." She raised her hand, and reality seemed to bend around her fingers, showing him glimpses of impossible geometries. Every other species they encountered, the Vryn, the Tholithi, the crystalline merchants of Andromeda, they all possess biological firewalls. Their evolution built defenses against the cosmos itself. But humans? She laughed, and it sounded like music from a dimension slightly adjacent to their own. "We're terrifyingly adaptable. The spores were a test. An ancient protocol left by a civilization that came before the Kashari. Before most of the galaxy's current inhabitants, they sought species that could become more." Sarah's form flickered, and for a moment James saw something vast and terrible and beautiful behind her human shape. Networks of thought spanning light years. Consciousness woven through the fabric of space-time itself. "The Kashari have spent millennia ensuring no species ever passes that test," she continued. "They've convinced themselves they're being merciful, that transformation is a form of death. And in a way, they're right. The Sarah you knew, who loved coffee and terrible mystery novels and watching binary sunsets, she is gone." Pain lanced through James's chest. "Then why are you here?" "Because I'm also still her. I contain her. Every memory, every feeling, every moment we shared." She knelt beside him, and he could feel energy radiating from her like standing near a star. "And I need you to understand what this means, James. Not just for me, but for all of humanity." He stared into those familiar yet alien eyes. "Tell me, the transformation isn't instantaneous. It takes time for the consciousness to expand, to integrate with the cosmic substrate the spores unlock. Right now, there are 73 other humans across the colonies who've been exposed to similar catalysts. The Kashari have been very careful to call them accidents and to treat the victims before transformation completes. The implications crashed over James like a tidal wave. They're preventing human ascension. Yes, because they know what we could become, what we're meant to become. Sarah, or the thing that had been Sarah, stood, pulling James to his feet. The galaxy isn't ready for a species that can evolve beyond physical constraints. That can merge consciousness with the universe itself, while still retaining individual identity. Every other race either stays trapped in flesh or dissolves completely into collective consciousness. But humans, she smiled, were stubborn enough to be both. James's scientific mind warred with his grief. What do you want from me? I want you to go back to Earth, Sarah said. I want you to tell them the truth. The Kashari will deny it, call me an anomaly, a dangerous aberration. But there are others like me awakening, and we need humanity to understand what's possible, what they're being denied, and then what? War with the Kashari? With half the galaxy? No. Her form began to fade, translucent against the artificial rain. Evolution. The universe is vast beyond imagination, James. There's room enough for all of us, but humanity deserves the choice to become more. The Kashari made their choice 10,000 years ago. They chose stability over transcendence. That's their right, but it's not their right to make that choice for us. James reached out, his hand passing through her fading form. Will I see you again? Always, she whispered. I'm in the spaces between stars now, in the quantum foam, in every photon that crosses the void. When you look up at night, know that I'm there. James, that part of humanity is already among the cosmos, waiting for the rest of you to join us. She was gone. James Chen stood alone in the memorial garden, rain falling on empty ground. But when he looked up at the stars visible through Proxima Station's transparent dome, he could have sworn he saw one wink at him, a brief fluctuation in luminosity that no astronomical phenomenon could explain. He took out his communicator with shaking hands. His scheduled transport back to Earth wasn't until tomorrow, but suddenly that felt like an eternity. Humanity needed to know what they were capable of becoming, and James Chen intended to tell them.